إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. ثم أما بعد، عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: المؤمن الذي يخالط الناس ويصبر على أذاهم المؤمن الذي يخالط الناس ويصبر على أذاهم خير من المؤمن الذي لا يخالط الناس ولا يصبر على أذاهم. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the believer who mingles and mixes with people and bears their harm is better than the believer who isolates himself from people and cannot bear their harm. Let's look at it, break it down. Mu'min, people, patience. So the ingredient is patience. This is the missing ingredient or the available ingredient. You're a believer, we're all believers. It means that every time you mix with people, expect harm. That's something you have to expect. Don't expect yourself, leave your house and come to the masjid or go to a gathering or anywhere with people and come back safe. You may come back safe, but don't expect it. What happens? If something happens, you already expect it. It's easy. This is like you want me to help you, you want to borrow money. And me personally, I give it to you not expecting you to pay me back, even though I write a contract and whatever to get it back. But deep inside, if I don't get it, it's all right. If you never give it to me, it's not gonna bother me, because I didn't expect it from the beginning. But if I expect it, I feel bad, I fight, I argue, because it is not, my mind is not rested on not getting it back. Same thing, when you leave your house and you come to the masjid with the impression in your mind, somebody's gonna say something or criticize something or look down at something. It's okay, this is part of the religion. This is something rewarding. This is something wanted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to come to jama'ah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to visit the sick. He wants you to deal with one another. He wants you to understand the problem of one another. He wants you to collaborate with one another. He wants you to increase the number of one another. When you go in an event or something and you look and you say, MashaAllah, did you see I went downtown and MashaAllah, Muslims are everywhere. What did that do to you? It made you feel good. So this is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you. Some people, وين يا أخوي ما بنشوفك؟ الله يا زلمة بيطلع الواحد وهذا بيجيك من جهة وهذاك من جهة، سيبك من هالبشر. What happened, brother? You know, getting sick and tired of people. You know, you go out and you want to go do something, and this brother says something, and this brother does something, and just leave me alone. I don't want to deal with this mess. This person doesn't understand his religion. Because our religion wants us to be good to one another. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's messenger, when he said, the one who mixes and bears harm, this is to tell you there is harm. If we understand the text, as I always mention, of the Quran and the Sunnah, and really and deeply understand it, you would accept it and you would love it. Just like you give the students, I give the students a test, and then they're arguing and they don't like it, or it's wrong and everything. And I ask a question that makes them think, and they start thinking. I said, okay, answer this. And they start thinking, now it's a different style than just reading it. Look at the Prophet ﷺ, passed by a woman on a grave crying. What did he say? Isbiri wahtasibi. Be patient and expect good from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What's the first thing she did? Get away from me. It's not your problem. She came later and she said, now I'll be patient. He said, too late. He said two things. Isbiri. Actually, the first thing he said, ittaqillah wasbiri. Which means, if you don't have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're going to fail on the second one. The way she reacted shows that the taqwa was not there at that time. That's why she did not show patience. Otherwise, look at Umar ibn al-Khattab. He is involved in something, let it be a dispute, argument, something, and then the person tells him, ittaqillah ya Umar. Boom. Cannot even, his knees will not hold him. Why? Because of the taqwa that he has. It's a reminder. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that should make you refrain from anything you're doing. But when he said to her, ittaqillah wasbiri, have taqwa and be patient, she didn't have the taqwa, the proper taqwa that makes her patient, she did not. So we don't look at the text this way to understand it, to understand that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for instance, finished an ayah with Aziz Hakim. Why Aziz Hakim? Why not Ghafur Rahim? Look at the ayah and dig deep in it, you understand why it ended up with that. Just like one Bedouin was hearing someone reciting the ayah, وَالسَّارِقُ وَالسَّارِقَةُ فَاقْطَعُوا أَيْدِيَهُمَا جَزَاءً بِمَا كَسَبَا نَكَالًا مِنَ اللَّهِ, and he said, وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. He said, وَاللَّهُ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. He doesn't memorize the Quran. It just, the meaning doesn't fit. You're saying that if someone steals, cut his hand as a recompense or punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you end it, Allah is most forgiving, most merciful. Doesn't look good. So he told him, Aziz Hakim, he is able and he is wise. Able to cut it and able to not, and he is wise with the wisdom why he cut it. So it fits. Same thing with the hadith. So understand the hadith that you need to mix with people. You should mix with people. It is wanted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to mix. Therefore, make sure you arm yourself with taqwa and patience. And you will be a winner on both sides, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.